Well, hey guys, and I hope you're well. My name is Pastor Stephen Birnie, and I'm the author of the Tribulation Soldier series. And at the moment, I'm building up our Tribulation Soldier COMS YouTube channel and Facebook with teachings and sermons, just trying to really populate it. And of course, at the moment, what I'm trying to do is do testimonies, personal testimonies of my life before God, my life with God, and just to give you an idea of who we are, where we come from. There's always hope they can relate to these sort of things, really hope that, you really feel a bit of a connection with just some of the stories that we're sharing during this time. But as always, guys, please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit notifications. We're obviously going to keep building this channel. We still have loads of videos on our Birnie Family YouTube and our Birnie Family Fun for kids, and that's really built up quite well now. I really need to get cracking with this. So yeah, last time, guys, it was just a bit of an overview of, our lives with God, the life we led before. Obviously that was a big part, that was me and Sharon, the absolute nightmare that was our relationship before we came to God. And of course after that, there's 20 years later, it's sort of never been better, But there's a lot in that, there was a lot in that. And I just want to go through some of the points in it, like the depression, the drinking, the drugs, the womanizing, all that things that I was sharing. And don't worry, this isn't going to be a depressing video, I really just want to share with you about an aspect of that, and then show you what God can do. And of course with depression, depression's a big thing in society, and it's there for, it comes from many different reasons, whether it's the real chemical kind, where you really are just a depressed person, as it were, It can come from just a real shock in life, abuse, all these different things, But whatever that may be, God can actually heal you from that, He can actually heal a person from that. And it's done really quite spectacularly. I've seen it more than once, where a person with depression is healed almost instantaneously of having that, drag in their life. For me, mine was more the chemical kind. I was more just unhappy, and that was it. You could have given me £1 million, I wouldn't have been happy. And that was just the way that it was for me. And for those of you that maybe don't, sort of understand what depression's like, it's like, most people can go through life. They have a hard time. They have a small trough. But when you got depression, you go right down, and it is really difficult to come back up again, even if life is really good. It's one of those things, depression, you cannot escape it. You just can't escape it at all, because it's your mind, You can wake up extremely unhappy, take ages to get into that day, and mornings are usually probably the worst. Afternoon's not so bad, obviously. The evening gets better for most people, But you find when you go to bed at night, that it's difficult to switch your mind off. You think, you remember what's going to happen the following morning, you are going to wake up feeling really unhappy. And to be honest with you guys, it's absolutely exhausting. Absolutely exhausting. And of course, with that, you're always trying to fill that void. It's just what you're trying to do. I used drink, I used drugs, I used womanizing before I came to God, obviously, and to try and fill that void. And the thing about these things is they kind of technically do. They do put that bandage on, but you wake up the next day and things aren't good, I sort of find, especially with the drinking, the depression would just go after a couple of drinks, and that was it. I had a break from it, Even though I knew the following morning I was going to have the mother of all hangovers like I normally did, Drinking for us was a Friday, Saturday night thing, and, 6 or 7 hours, You start at 7 o'clock in the evening, after work, your shower, your supper, and you come back in the door, 3, 4 in the morning, it's quite a thing, But for me, that's what life was like. And, before God, I tried to fill it with many other things. I did kickboxing for 2 years. I was in the British Army Reserves for a time. And nobody really thought I was really this unhappy, but I was. And like I said, guys, this was, for me, it's the proper chemical kind. It's not the one that actually can be healed, sort of over time. And I really wanted to share this with you because that has obviously been a very, very big part of my life before, you know. And I'd hate for anyone watching this to think that God can't heal you from that. One of the reasons why I still suffer from it, nothing like it used to be before, but I still suffer it, is to help me understand it, because I'm a Christian pastor, and you tend to go through more stuff when you call to the ministry and you start doing stuff like this, you know. And rather than kind of really heal you, God kind of sometimes leaves things with you so that you can remember and you can understand what this feels like, because so many people do. God could heal me in an instant, guys. I've laid hands on other people and seen them healed. I've seen other people healed from depression but not been healed myself. God can do this. You know, he really can do this. So that's what it's like for me. You know, that's just what it is for me. And I have good days and bad, I think, like most people these days, you know. But, you know, God changed my life so much, you know, and compared to what it was before, you know, the depression was bad before, but when I gave my life to Christ, when I came back to him, I should say, actually, and I started living that life again with him, you know, he took care of a lot of rubbish in my life that I'd picked up when I fell away from him in my teenage years, you know. And that took time, you know, to repair the relationship with me and Sharon, and there's a lot of circumstances God's got to change for you, things that he'll move you away from, things he'll move you into, and all these things put together really begin to brighten up your life. That depression starts getting converted, it starts getting hit by God in that way. And like I said, God can heal, he can just do it instantaneously. But more often than not, again, for people who are maybe called, he'll leave it with you a bit, you know, and you always remember, you know what it feels like for other people. And it's something I kind of hold on to a bit, because I don't really want to forget. I'd never want to be that type of person that's like, oh, come on, just get on with it. You know, that's just nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. People with depression can't just get on with it, you know. And like I said, I'm hopefully speaking to people who maybe suffer depression out there. I know what it feels like. It's exhausting just trying to feel happy, you know, to even try and maintain a sense of happiness for a few hours of the day. It is very, very hard indeed. But like I said, I don't want this to be a depressing testimony today. I'm wanting to show you from my experiences, not just from depression. You know, there's many people that have depression, they can relate to what I'm talking about, but to what God can actually do about it. He can just heal you like that. It is unbelievable to have that level of access, you know. And of course, I'm a generational Christian, you know, there's never been a question about God being able to heal. I've seen it so many times, you know. That's why at times it's all the more frustrating when he doesn't heal you, you know. But when it comes to a person who comes to God maybe with depression, it really just is going to depend on what your purpose is with him. It may well be that your purpose in him is better served if he heals you now, or heals you in 6 months' time, or 2 years' time, whatever that takes. It may well be that he might keep it there for 7 years, 8 years, might be 20 years. I'm 20 years down the line now, and I'm hoping that, you know, I'm far better than I've ever been, and it's not just through the passage of time, but he will heal me of this one day. You know, I might get that real peace, you know, that'll be awesome. But for the people that do get healed, it's a very dramatic change, you know. And I've heard so many people say about the relief, you know, just that relief. And I've had God touch my life in those ways before as well. I mean, the relief is just tremendous. I remember when God really dealt with a major problem in my life, which was fear. And I'm going to share about fear as well. That fear's a flipping killer. It's an enemy. But I remember being delivered from that, you know, where God really comes in and takes care of that. When after that few moments were over, I was absolutely exhausted. It was the relief, and I lay back, and I can remember just almost feeling like I was out of it. I was gone, you know. I was just so relieved that this had been taken care of in my life. And of course, as time went on, experience is proof in the pudding, you know. As the days went on, I just thought, man, I feel so different. Still me, but very different. Yeah, so obviously, you know, God did that in my life because I've got to teach, I've got to preach, I've got to understand this stuff, you know. And unfortunately with depression, I do understand it. But the way God did things with me was that there's a lot of circumstances getting changed over the months and the years, you know, and deliverance experiences like that from fear. And a lot of these things begin to add up. As a kid, guys, I was just unhappy. I was unhappy as a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 6-year-old. I was unhappy as a teenager, you know, so I drink and obviously again try to fill that void. I'd never felt happiness like it when you know you're with God. And it comes from that peace. You just have a peace in your mind, you know. You can think more clearly. You're not tired because you're, you know, you're pushing and pushing and pushing. And that changed a lot that's changed a lot for me. You know, it really has. Still got the touch of it. And I'm sure God will heal me of it in time. I'm sure of that, you know. But for now, it's got a purpose. But for many of you that listen to this, that if you do give your life to Jesus, or you find God just whatever way things come for you, if you do suffer from depression, even the chemical kind, yeah, the real chemical kind, He can heal you. He can really heal you. And to the majority of Christians I've met, they have been healed from those types of things, you know. Again, for a lot of people, depression can have a root, you know, like abuse, you know, physical, sexual abuse, being abused by parents, you know, not being loved by parents, being ignored by parents. There's so many different things that can mount up and add to depression. There's only so much people can take, you know. There's only so much the human mind can take. And at times God maybe unpicks that. He shows it in your mind the moment that things start to really turn for you, the real root of the issue. And boy, guys, when you feel that relief, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it at all. Never mind your drugs and your drink. Those temporary things. Oh, no. So guys, this has been my brief testimony, just taking that depression part out of the previous sermon that I did, you know, you know, my testimony of salvation in Jesus, you know. And I'd like to actually carry on with a few other things. You know, we'll speak about depression, you know, throughout the ministry. I'll speak about depression, we'll pray about depression, we'll do all those sort of things, you know. But for the purposes just now, these are for testimonies. And I suppose one of the bigger things for me, and it's a bit of a Scottish thing, it was the drink, it was alcohol, you know. Again, it was me trying to mask up a lot of unhappiness. But the alcohol was a problem within itself as well. You know, it might have been a symptom, but the alcohol was a really, really big thing. I'd like to speak again another video about womanizing. You know, it's a really good, you know, bandage, but not very healthy, but it's a good bandage at the time. All these things that maybe really affect us as people, guys. I want to show you. I so much want to show you how God can intervene. How you can come into your life and transform it, you know. That's what I really, really want to show. So guys, for now, please let me thank you for sitting and listening to me. Obviously, you know, with sermons and various other things, I thank you for that. But, you know, when it comes to personal testimonies about really sharing my heart, the real truth of who I am and what I've been, you know, same with Sharon and her family and things like that, you know, I really want to thank you very deeply for that. You know, it's such a privilege to be able to share that and for you to be listening. It's infinitely better, guys, if these really do affect you as a person, you know, and God can do that. This is a very, very uncertain world just now, and He is very, very certain. God bless you guys. Again, please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit notifications. And as always, guys, we've got our Birnie Family YouTube channel there, you know, for you guys, 2 or 3 videos a week normally. You know, motorbike vlog, the caravanning, wild camp, and all those things I can do now that I'm not clinically depressed, you know. And of course the Birnie Family Fun with the kids, you know, them doing all their thing, you know, 24-hour challenges, quad biking and all that sort of stuff, you know. And they've got the shorts, you know, guys, if you like TikTok and shorts, we've got them as well, we've got them. And of course a gaming channel that we're actually building over the course of this year. All there for you guys, so I hope you really enjoy it. God bless.